the show today, we get into issues of a purpose-driven life. Now, a purpose-driven life in regards to your career, in regards to the space that you're in, if you're an entrepreneur, or even in the corporate space. Talking about the corporate space, are you a leader in your corporate space? Let's talk leadership in regards to how that can impact the sphere that you're operating in, and also eventually your country, Zambia, which is a third world country and needs to get from this level of development to another level of development. Talking about entrepreneurs, when did you hear the word thrift? If you have heard of it, how did it impact you, and how much potential does this industry have to make sure that our country benefits from the sectors that are overlooked, or is it sometimes underrated? We talk the thrift business. So I have two authors on the show, I have a life coach on the show, and of course I have an entrepreneur who is in the fashion industry. This and more on Strictly Business. This is Strictly Business. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is JudyNgulube. We get straight into getting focus on the chat for today, which is bordering on issues of career guidance, a purpose-driven life, and full life will. What is that about? And we also talk about diversity and inclusion, walking the talk. I'm excited because I have Agatha Joella. She is country head distribution at Atlas Mara Bank and a life certified coach. I'm excited because she has all these intertwined in one in a very unique way. I've interacted her on platforms that, you know, when we have more time, oh my God. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm fine. Excited to be here.
I'm also excited to have you here.
Yeah.
When we talk career guidance, issues of career guidance, some people go all the way back to school where you're sitting with somebody who's telling you you're going to become this and that because you are good in this subject. Yeah. Does this story move in the same trajectory even when you're older?
Yes, it does, Jude. And I think for me it goes way back to when we were children. So you find parents, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, aunties asking you, what do you want to become when you grow up? So there's all sorts of answers, even now, coming from young ones. I want to become a doctor, I want to become a teacher, I want to become a nurse, I want to become a firefighter. Some of them I want to even become a soldier. So as you grow, you've got all these, dreams. You go into school, you start meeting peers, again you start discovering yourself, what is it that you are good at, what are you passionate about, and things happen. And sometimes you wanted to become a doctor, but due to a number of things, you find yourself maybe in the banking sector like me. Maybe you wanted to become a nurse, but due to maybe the people were sponsoring you, they said, no, you're going to do a business course. But what I would say about career as you grow, as you discover yourself, is for you to do a SWOT analysis. We normally talk about SWOT analysis when we are doing corporate, strategies. But I encourage people to say, what are your strengths? You have to know what your strengths are. What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities for that which you want? What are the threats for the space where you want to go in?
This conversation is intertwined. We thought it very important to talk about this right now because this is October. We are starting the last quarter of the year. And people always talk about what I had planned for myself as an individual, for my team, if you're leading a team, in regards to the whole year. But we've had COVID-19. We've had so many different things on a global scale, which also trickle down to Zambia, So when you look at issues of having a purpose in your life, people would be looking at it on a manner that's not related to business, not related to you as, a person in a corporate space. How do these fuse into one to make sure that, you're walking the talk?
Exactly. And you know what, Judy, when we speak about a purpose-driven life, it's, who are you? What is it that moves you? What is that thing that makes you cry? What legacy do you want to leave? All of us, we have those questions at one time or another.
But do they apply in a corporate space or if I'm running my own business?
Definitely they do, because I'll tell you what, Judy, like I'm in the service industry. And for me, when I flash back, even when I was young, I like to save. I liked to put a smile on someone. So, it's just tapping into that core, into your passion. And you apply it to whatever you are doing, because the principles are the same, whether you are working for the corporate, whether you are working on your own, for example, you need customers. You know, you need to retain customers. You need to make customers feel that they are dealing with someone that really cares. Because now it's no longer about, you know, products, services. It's about, you know, connecting emotionally. So there are those things that, whether we like it or not, you have to start from somewhere. What are your core values?
And then there begs the question now, when you're working with something you're passionate about, that blur line between, you know, self-satisfaction to say, I'm passionate about this, and if my end product is a result of what I wanted, the profit margin really won't matter to me. How then do you strike the balance between personal fulfillment, the passion, the talent, and the business?
And the business, the profit, right?
Yes,
so, you know, and it's fun that you talk about it. I was actually listening to one of my many mentors that I followed, Dan, and he was saying, you know, for him, when he started, it was all about money. And then along the way came the passion, along the way came the, you know, loving what I'm doing and everything. And now, at the end of it all, he's been able to connect that actually it does start with, who am I? You know, what am I passionate about it? About what do I love? Because when you've got it all together, then the money will come. Because at the end of the day, you can't just run a business without money, without a profit. Because even if you want to save the world, you can't save them. So the balance should be there. In your passion, in loving what you do, in going an extra mile, guess what? It's like seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these other things will be added unto you. So do your thing, do what you are good at, go for it. You might fall, you rise, keep on, don't give up, and guess what? The money will come.
The money will just follow you. But in a global space, existing as Zambia, issues of diversity, effects of, you know, inclusion, how then do you do it? Very quickly, in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, diversity and inclusion, most companies are talking about it. Most companies, even at government level, you know, when you look at representation of women, but what I encourage women is, you know, you have to show up. It's not just going to be given to us at a silver plate. We have to work it. We have to show that we are adding value. So yes, the statements, the pronouncements are there, and it's us as women to rise up, to show up, and be given a chance, an opportunity at the table. But it's about value.
I wouldn't even add anything more to that. Thank you so much. Agatha Yowela, Country Head Distribution at Atlas Mara Bank, and also Life Certified Coach. We've been talking all issues of, you know, career guidance, purpose-driven life, and of course, diversity and inclusion when it comes to your space, extending it to what you're supposed to be doing in regards to making a profit. This is Strictly Business.
Thank you.
All right, and in our corporate news, Namula Logistics Solutions has launched a platform to bring together a fleet of Zambian-owned small-scale transporters to enable them to participate in handling large volumes of cargo, usually associated with big trucking companies. Now, Nyamula MD Stephen Muranga said recently that locally owned transporters have been experiencing various challenges that hinder them from making realistic turnovers. He added that Nyamula decided to establish a one-stop market for truck owners and said that the cargo movers for this reason are the ones that are going to go with it. Now, he further explained that this model operates on the model such as the Uber taxis, whereby small truckers are brought together to make huge fleets of cargo that will handle large volumes, which allows smaller transporters to be involved in the transportation of huge volumes of cargo. And in our next story, we get you to issues of mining, and this is now in Kitwe. The LOLC Finance Zambia has committed to spending about 10 million United States dollars annually to finance the mining orders for suppliers at Mopani Copper Mines, MCM. The company started operations this year with the aim of reaching out to small and medium-sized enterprises by providing them with affordable and convenient financial services. Chief Executive Officer Elmo Jaiteleke said in an interview recently with a local newspaper that the understanding of the MOU is what it is. Mr. Jaiteleke said that the MOU will enable the company to finance about 80% of the orders. He said that the mining company will be paid its dues and we will be deducted from the dues. We now get into the world of ICT, still in our corporate news. And this time, Zambia's participation in Africa-wide Youth Information and Communications Technology (ICT) program is exposing young people to entrepreneurship and job creation skills. Africa Telecommunications Union ATU Secretary General John Omo said that the Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority sector has been crowned among winners of the Africa-wide ICT Challenge staged at the ATU and International Telecommunications Company. You're still watching Strictly Business. A writer, a researcher, and he also conducts organizational leading as well as entrepreneurship. Now, his most recent project was authoring a book entitled The General Theory of Leadership. I'm going to be talking to Dr. Mwelwa Mulenga, who is going to be telling me more about what leadership means in his book, especially across the corporate space. Dr. Mulenga, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So, a very interesting project you've embarked on here. May I?
Yes, sure.
The General Theory of Leadership. Tell me how leadership cuts across the phases of a business.
Well, so you can't have an organization without leadership, but you also can't have leadership without an organization, right? So if you look at what I call the theory of the firm, it's a graph that I developed starting from when someone starts developing an idea, they invest money, so it's negative. And after some time, the business begins to grow. So it enters a different phase called the growth phase. And after a number of years, the revenue stays the same, so the business matures. And at each stage of this organization, from the investment stage, you need skills that support the development of a new enterprise. When the business begins to grow, you need skills to manage that growth. And when it matures, most people get bored, right? So you need to bring in other people who know how to manage the mature phase of the organization. Unfortunately, most people fail to transition through these three phases. And so you have a lot of businesses that remain small because they didn't have skills to transition into the next phase and then into the final phase.
Could we safely say some businesses fail to grow, or others then fail completely to just flourish because of this issue of leadership in this space?
Yes, so if you look at the core definition of leadership as presented in the book, you need four things in a person. You need to have knowledge about the business, about the environment the business is in, the suppliers, the processors, the consumers of the products are going to make. You also need intelligence to understand this knowledge that you have acquired to develop useful information. But you also need wisdom. Just because something is right doesn't mean you have to do it, right? And after that, you need courage. A lot of people have knowledge, intelligence, and wisdom, but have no courage.
Can leadership be learned?
It depends. So, in fact, I tackle that issue in the book.
Yeah. Really?
So we call it conditional learning or conditional teaching. You can teach it to people who can learn it. You can't just teach it to everybody. In the same way that if you work in one company and you're successful as a leader in one company, it's not automatic that if you go into another company, you're going to be as successful as you were. So it's not transferable, but it's conditionally transferable. If you go in from a bank to another bank, you might be successful.
Wow. You know, I'm going to open this book and then we're going to have a conversation, a longer conversation than this. I appreciate you coming through.
Sure, thank you.
I have been talking to Dr. Mwelwa Mulenga, writer, researcher, and also into issues of organizational leadership as well as entrepreneurship. This is Strictly Business. All right, and in our Bine segment, I get to dwell in the fashion industry. What is thrift? We've been seeing a lot of this on social media. I want to get to understand this in regards to somebody who is dealing thrift, who is operating a thrift business, so that she should tell us exactly what this is, because other people are saying it's just a fancy name for Salaula. Is it? We want to understand all this. Melanie Chingali is the founder of Restyle ZM, and we want to get to know her a little bit better and see how her business operates. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you for coming through to Chikle Business.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you
So,
for having
thrift, what is this all about?
me. Well, thrift is, well, for lack of a better term, sophisticated salaula.
So when people are saying sophisticated salaula,
No, they actually, yeah, it's true. That's what it is. Although there's a lot to the business that people don't really understand, away from it being affordable, but it's also good quality. You know, that's the one place you're going to find the original brands. You're going to find big brands like H&M, Dorothy Perkins. You know, it's big UK brands that women, the 21st century woman, wants to have.
Okay.
So
you
that's
can move closer. I'm a meter away from you. I know. You can move closer to me. I know that.
Okay.
You know, we are all thinking of COVID-19 and the
Yeah,
meter
is
apart.
that fine?
Okay. So when you talk about thrift, what sets it apart then? What sets it apart?
So many things. One of them is the prices. You know, thrift is very economic. It's costly. Thrift is very affordable. You know, you're going to find what you're looking for, but at a very affordable price. The same thing that you will be buying for maybe 4 times more, you'll get it at a thrift store. So that is what sets it apart the most. The money you pay for the value you get.
The fashion industry has been seen not only in Zambia, Africa, but on a global scale regards to contribution to economic potential, revenue. When you look at what you're operating in now, would you agree to this statement in regards to job creation and revenue creation for not only your business, but eventually for the country?
Definitely. I think there's a lot of untapped potential, especially here in Zambia. You know, other countries maybe a couple of years ahead of us in terms of fashion, but then that's one thing that I would encourage young people to invest in, especially those young people that are passionate about fashion. You know, there's always somewhere to start. Thrift is a very affordable and easy business to set up. Along with the long run, you know, you're going to have to put in a lot of investment, but it's easy to start. And so for the economy, I feel like Zambian youth, it's something that Zambian youths who are passionate about fashion should dare to start.
Dare to start, indeed. Thank you very much, Melanie, for coming through. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. This is Strictly Business. I'll take you right to a Skype interview where I'm going to be interacting with Jones Msonda. Jones Msonda is talking issues of social corporate investment. What is that? Jones, how are you?
I'm okay, Judy. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Let's talk the definition of corporate social investment.
Yeah, so corporate social investment basically is an advanced version or a hybrid of corporate social responsibility. But what we're looking at when we talk about corporate social investment is this is drawing on a plan of a sustainable plan of corporate social responsibility. In short, an investment is something that you expect to get a return on an investment later on. So this should be able to cut across all stakeholders. That is the investing company as well as the host community. They all should get some return out of the investment that is being done.
Wouldn't you say this is something that's coming up to trample on social corporate responsibility?
Not at all. Basically, these two are intertwined and they work together. That is why when you talk about corporate social investment, it cannot be talked about without the aspect of responsibility. Because every corporate entity has responsibility to their host community. And so without corporate social responsibility, you can't talk about corporate social investment.
Okay, and when you talk about the space it's occupying in the corporate world, what impact does it have?
So corporate social investment basically creates a larger and sustainable impact on the community as opposed to corporate social responsibility. And basically, the reason is simple. I'll give an example of a corporate organization. that does not have a corporate social responsibility department. It does not have a corporate social responsibility dedicated staff. And then they're basically just doing once-off charity activities in the community. That does not create sustainability. But when you invest in the community, you have a set plan of action that you follow with a dedicated staff that are going to follow up, they're able to monitor and evaluate the impact that a particular project you conduct in the community is going to have over a certain period of time.
All right, Jones, thanks so much for coming through and letting us know, the impact of social corporate investment, its relation to social corporate responsibility, and of course how it pans out in a space where it's needed the most. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Judy. Pleasure was mine.
This has been Strictly Business. We've gone all the way from social corporate investment, getting to career guidance, a purpose-driven life. We've gotten into the fashion world, and of course, making sure that leadership really chants all these in a book that has been written by Dr. Mlenga. On behalf of the, Strictly Business Crew, my name is JudyNgulube.